there, or have you gotten
like 0.3?
Okay, so that's all natural EMF from the earth, so that's why we go straight to 2.5.
But I did use 2.5.
Where at?
Back
where we are?
Yeah, where we used it, 2.5.
Oh, I thought you meant 2.5. I was trying to remember what the barometer was.
No,
We were still back by the other.
you did say Kobe Bryant after.
Kobe Bryant and get some alcohol. Was that the two phrases we have so far? Okay, so nothing relevant, but we're still going to write them down because you guys are starting to get the gist of how they actually work. Let's see, Kobe Bryant. I don't know if there's a Bryant that was on Big John's team. Your spirit boxes are slowed down. You're going to pick up a lot of extra words. What color is a big red barn? Rudolph the red-nosed reindeer. We don't need Rudolph the nosed reindeer. We just need the word red, and we have our answer, right? So again, the Kobe Bryant, we're going to see if that actually matches up to anything.
Try and win the game.
She's all over it. So welcome to a parking lot, everybody. Congrats, you made it.
I love it.
Now, I take you to weird spots around town. Some of the other ghost stores, well, we're going to go to some spaces tonight the other ghost stores won't even go to, like this one, because there's nothing for them to see.
474.
Remind me on that one. I'm going to get to the history on this one, and I'll start writing all your guys' stuff down again. So, this place used to be something relevant to the history of Charleston, which is exactly why we're here. So again, it also gives my teams an opportunity to kind of spread out a little bit and actually keep going through. So in the event that you guys get really good at this, use your phones for some notes, and then that way I can catch up with you and see what you found. So again, I tend to lose track because I want to always like stop and listen, like, what'd you get? And then when hers is on, I want to listen to it. So again, either hang on to them or write them all down. That's the easiest way to do that, because it seems like you two are going to be really good at this.
También es para write it down.
So where was I? See, I lost track already. We're at it.
Welcome to the parking lot.
I know, right? Charles and Eliza Pinckney Mansion used to sit here. It sat in the front of this space, facing East Bay Street. Eliza's garden was lined up with Five Church Restaurant, came all the way across, and we are standing in the servant and slave quarters for the home. That's the layout of the land. So who the heck were these people? By the way, communication devices, all spirit boxes, and our word, deriving device. I'm not going to be giving you questions here like what color is George Washington's white horse. I'm going to be holding back information on purpose, so that way you're not looking for things like go find some alcohol kind of mentality. You guys are seeing my point on this. You're going to be getting the answers from your communication devices. Moving on. Eliza and Charles had a son named Charles. They had a nephew named Charles. That's 3 Chucks, in case nobody was paying attention. That's why we look for the secondary clues. In the event you have the name Charles that shows up, I'm hoping somebody else is going to find a clue so I know which one it is, so we know how to address them. They are 3 different men. Anyway, the son and the nephew were signers of the Constitution for South Carolina. Big deal for us. I hate politics more than all of you. If I don't give the gentlemen their recognition for signing the Constitution, they will do it for me very nastily through a spirit box. So I just make sure I give them the recognition every night. We move on. Eliza, the mom, she has a much better story. She marries Charles at a very young age according to today's standards. I say it slowly because if you're going to ask her how old she was when she married, do not expect numbers from the colonial days of when young ladies got married at 12 and 14. Think of today's standards, because the husband was over double her age when they married. Kind of a creepy age gap then, creepy age gap now. Just giving you some clues. Anyway, back to Eliza. She married him because her father was over in England. He thinks he's dying. He's trying to bring his kids home one last time so he could see him. Eliza didn't believe he was dying, so she stayed put right here and got married. It is 1744. You do not get married at that time to earn a green card, because we are not a country yet. There's no such thing as a green card. She married this guy out of love. This is a true love story. There's nothing horrific about this location. If anything, it's a place of respect. Moving on. She was correct. Dad did not die right away, and instead he starts sending her gifts from England to where you're standing. One of those gifts happens to be the plant seeds of indigo. That's a plant that makes blue dye that makes your blue jeans blue. One person's wearing it tonight. So, good job. But anyway, when she got her seeds, she had no idea what to do with it. She had to learn from her servants and slaves how to keep it going. It is not always hot and humid here to be able to keep that stuff going. Then she learned how to make the dye, moved it to a cash crop, got a hold of that overseas, told him rice plantations are going downhill, we're going to make a killing with the indigo. And we now have an international businesswoman during colonial times. It's something absolutely unheard of. That's the boring business stuff of Eliza, so you know who we're dealing with. Let's get into the weird shit, because that's why you guys are all here. All communication devices, I will be giving you focus questions. You can say these things out loud, or you can just focus on them. It works either way. She already knows what we're going to be asking because I'm here every night. However, keep in mind, we have 3 cameras and all these communication devices. If anybody's asking a question, anybody could get the answer. If Alba's asking something, he might get the answer. That's why we always use a lot of communication devices. Let's go through it. 2 red spirit boxes. You're standing right next to each other. This is going to be perfect. You two are going to focus on Eliza's death. So, the 4 major questions we get
Our
answers
secret
to.
handshake.
4 majors are
What
how
is it?
old she was when she got,
Listen.
how old she was when she died, what did she die from, where she's buried, and which president was a pallbearer at her funeral. If you go rogue and ask your own questions, be respectful, no yes, no questions, and do not ask about her children. So I'm going to just put that out there for everybody. Do not ask about the children. I'll explain why before we leave the space. You're going to be looking for Eliza's maiden name. So her maiden name starts with an L, and the only reason I'm telling you this
With
is
an L?
an L.
I forgot.
She's the second wife named Eliza from Charles, back to back. First wife died in 5 months before he married the one I just told you about. Kind of a jerk move, but they both have a maiden name that starts with the letter L. Figure out which Eliza we're dealing with. Edie, your device, the mansion's not here anymore. You're going to be asking about what happened to the mansion, and then when did that happen. If you get the what, because you're going to get other things too, but if you get what happened to it, you're more than likely going to get 2 or 3 numbers from the date of when that tragedy occurred. So basically, she's going to tell you when it happened, and then she's going to tell you what happened. So you're getting the point on how to use those questions? Okay, perfect. All right, we are going to spread out. If you don't have the record button hit on your camera already, please do so, and let's get those things up and running. I'm going to do 1 or 2 round robins with all of you, kind of give you guys a chance to work with your devices, and then I'm going to bring us all back to give you all of the answers to show you how it actually worked out, if we have anything happen at all. Any numbers we need to know about before we leave the space. So I'm going to keep Alba with me for just a minute. Everybody else, let's spread out and go find your spot and kind of see what we got going on, and I'll be with everybody in just a minute. Easiest way for you to, when I say every once in a while, Alba, where are our last 3 or 4 turns? You're going to hit this box, hit to the right. And it's going to give you everything you want.
You don't want to eat it later.
Yeah?
You don't want to eat it later.
Not really.
That's okay with me, but I don't know if there's trash bags in there.
How much? 11.8. Nice. Daniela, I know being the camera person is not always the most exciting job, but again, if you guys feel free to move things about who you came with. So if you wanted to switch with, I'm sorry, is this like mom and 2 kids?
Yes.
Is that what the deal is?
Yes,
So if you want to switch with mom, by all means do so. If you want to try his spirit box, by all means, ask him to swap. Just keep it within the family.
Okay.
All this stuff gets sanitized.
Okay.
I'm not trying
That's
to.
good.
I used to do that before COVID anyway, so
Okay.
just got
Okay,
became a
sounds
habit.
good. We can walk together so we can see the same.
There you go. Yeah, being the videographer is not always the most exciting thing. It's about the footage later, so
Yeah.
that's about it. And I figured you're pretty quiet, so we're not going to have a full commentary.
Okay. And if we're not allowed to film
Million.
people in cars, can I film people in the group?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what you guys paid for. That's expected.
Okay.
So again, it's just the strangers that are going to be walking through or people's cars. You'll see.
Okay.
Look at my kid.
Into it. What's wrong with her? Sometimes I know the kids start to work out and they're nervous. I'm like,
Are you writing the things down? Are you writing down what you're hearing? Did you put 474 and
I did not put force in it.
that wrote down another one. You said bottle of wine. That was ¿Qué vería?
No sé palabras, pero es.
Overwhelming.
Las palabras me salen eran dangerous, chills, overwhelming.
¿Dónde quedó la comida Samuel?
Samuel la botó.
Y
Dijo
después
que
se
no
nos
lo quería.
ponían guau.
Sí. Y ya que nos comemos casi todos los nachos, así que estuvo bien conveniente esa comida.
No, o sea,
Creo que la salvó.
En 5 o 10 minutos se le quitó el mal humor que tenía.
Sí. ¿Tú puedes ver para gente? Yo no. Lo ves.
My aunt Linda, she lives here, but we're visiting from Oregon.
Okay. Wow.
Yeah. Pretty fun. Cross country. It's fun.
I'm just listening.
Pero si te quitas los lentes no vas a ver.
¿Ah?
Si te quitas los lentes no vas a ver. Contrast.
Like today.
El señor me preguntó si él estaba haciendo Samuel nervioso, le estaba hablando así. Le dije, no, he started. Y el señor, okay. No, it's fine, I'm pretty sure that I'll come back to you now with the talk. Really super. Me dice, but he sounds nervous. Okay, super excited. And then me dijo, okay, I appreciate that. And I asked him, so that I have seizures. And me dijo, so if I have permission, I'm not afraid to ask people when I see something that is wrong. Dice, me dijo, when I start speaking con palabras cambiadas, eso me da un seizure seguramente. Y yo no tengo busco
Sí, ahí lightning.
Sí, no, bueno,
Lightning.
me imagino que se verá el rojo, ¿no?
No, pero yo no tengo la cámara esa infrared, yo tengo una cámara normal,
¿Eso
creo.
pesa mucho?
No. Ya,
Yo creo que puedes, bueno, sí. O sea, puedes grabar, pero digamos cuando la gente diga classroom, yes, I'm a teacher.
9.8,
9.8.
13.2.
Googling.
No, she said it was cool.
I think she's reading some books. That's magic.
Is it something?
Yeah.
My first guess was Ari.
You got it right.
It's Lucas.
Lucas.
You got it. She has ghost tuition.
How many last names there's to L? I got it there.
What?
Fergus down there. I don't know that.
How's their word list coming, Alba? What do we got?
Classroom. Function.
Did you actually Google it?
Anything. Anything interesting.
A whole lot of nothing.
14.
That's pretty
They were
vague
apparently
here
married
tonight, so I
for
think
14
we're gonna
years.
wrap this one up.
Look at it.
It's green.
13 was your highest number so far?
13.2 right
Got it.
there.
Vamos a tomar
like,
café.
look at Rain.
Ako yun.
I guess.
One point.
Got it?
Porque tú lo escribes, ¿no?
Maybe I should not speak to them from.
You want to hold this and hold the camera for a little bit?
With this one, because you've heard how much gobbledygook comes out of it. If you literally have anything coming out of there, I want to know what it is. Right now, it looks like it's picking up on different things.
Me gusta con la cámara.
Wealthy?
It just said you're autistic. Yes? It just said you're autistic.
You just heard wealthy resources. They had wealthy resources. Kind of like where it's going. They're little breadcrumbs all the time. You just gotta know where to find them. All right, let's regroup back at the back where we are, because your camera is going to be picking up on all of our shadows based on the headlights around us. So go ahead and hit your stop button. We're going to get a lot of false positives. We're going to regroup to the back. I'm going to be asking Eryn and Sam to see what they've got since last I spoke to them. You guys are starting to get the gist of that now, so that's super cool. We had a couple of terms come through. They're vague. There's nothing like super factual about them, like dates and names and numbers. But again, we still had wealthy and resources. I like it. Like, it makes sense to me why you heard those two phrases. It's small breadcrumbs, but that's what we look for. Let's regroup to the back. Let's see what we can get.
Do I stop the third camera while we're moving?
Cameras, you can stop them. Be relaxed with them.
Déjame ver que me devuelvo un ratito. Déjame que... No, sí, cálmate un ratito. No, no quiero.
Alright, let's do our spirit boxes first. Sam, did you hear anything else in class we talked? Not really. Okay. Eryn, what about you? Did you hear anything since last we spoke?
I just heard Ferguson, doors, and 843.
843 is our area code. Remember, I'm not writing those down. You're going to hear it all the time.
I don't know what the area code is here.
I just told you. I told you like
now
5
I
minutes
know.
ago. 843 in Charleston, I never write those down. You're going to hear them all night long.
Okay, Ferguson and doors.
Ferguson indoors, got it. Alright, so we did get up to a 13.2 on the EMF meter. So not very high for this location, but let me explain why. This location normally sees between an 18 and a 22. That's an average 5 out of 7 nights a week. So your TV set gives off about a 40 to 60 milligauss. So that kind of gives you an idea of something around your house. Now your microwave heating up your food goes about 150 to 170. The highest I've ever seen Lindsay's device go has been over 200. It goes up to 200, which means to me it errored out 3 times in 15 minutes and stayed within triple digits for the remainder of that time. That location is where you're standing. That happened about 6 or 7 months ago. We got out of here. I actually have epilepsy. That's too much electricity in the air for the guy with the neurological disorder. You guys see I'm constantly going to be checking in with her, like, how high did it go? So the 13.2, it's cool. It's actually pretty high for most other locations. I expect actually quite a bit more out of this one, just because of what this place actually is. So let's cover all of the answers. We did get the number 14 that came out of Sam's device, wealthy resources that came out of Edie's device, so I'm pretty excited about those. The number 14 is relevant because that's exactly how long Charles and Eliza were married. 14 years up until Charles's death, 1744 to 1758. So let's cover the answers to show you what else these things look like as I'm going through them when I get back to the office. So I always kind of break out the tablet. You guys don't need to huddle around. I'll kind of like go around the horn with this. So that's the end of last night's round. Perfect. So this is Eliza Lucas Pinckney. So Lindsay did guess the name right because she probably heard it before, because I'm guessing you lived here and have lived here for quite a while. It's okay. Eliza Lucas is one of the names that we'll be looking for when I'm going through your data. The other name was Eliza Lamb Pinckney. Lamb and Lucas are the two names that will pop up. Yep. So, and it is spelled just like the animal. So, L-A-M-B. This wife, the second one, was 22 years old when she married Charles, and he was 45. So 23-year age gap between the two of them. Normally I have to put my, well, not normally, but sometimes I have to put my foot in my mouth because I have a 23-year age gap couple standing in front of me, and I'm like, oh, snap. Like, I shouldn't have said that. That it was creepy. But anyway, you guys got the point. Wow, gotta get some chuckles out of you guys, for real. You guys gotta lighten up and have some fun with this. So, what happened to the mansion? You guys don't know yet. This is fire damage from the Great Fire of 1861. These are Edie and Mike's questions. This is exactly where you're standing right now. This picture was taken from behind me, so you're looking at the back of the house. Now, oftentimes if we get the words like fire, burning, or blaze, that's why I was kind of like, did you hear 4? Did you really hear 4? Because she heard the number 4, which is super great, because Eliza and Charles did have 4 children, but I was hoping that it could have been like, I'm not really sure, it could have been fire as well. You can see where those 2 words would be misconstrued. But we will often get 2 or 3 numbers from the date of when this occurred. This happened on December 11th of 1861. Just to give you guys a heads up, this is how I learn about these things. One particular night, somebody heard 12, then somebody heard 11, then somebody else heard 61, and then somebody else heard the word fire. We'll just go back to the original person. I had no idea what the correlation was until I did the research. This is how everything we're talking about came from a previous investigation, just so you know. And then we started to see the repeats over and over again. It must have been a firework somebody shot over. There was a green light that literally went straight down, almost like it was going into the water over there. It's kind of like, what the hell's going on? We got UFOs going on? We're ghost hunting? Every tour in town is going to tell you about a great fire, just because we've had dozens of them. I'm sure Lindsay's seen all the damn pictures of them. But this is a map of Charleston. It literally went from one side of the peninsula all the way to the other. This is about $9 million worth of damage. So I hate to say, like, my fire is probably the biggest out of all of the others that they're talking about, but my fire is probably the biggest. I just like to brag like that. So you guys got the point. 12, 11, 61. Fire, we didn't get any of those things. So again, not too exciting, but who knows what the hell I'm going to find when I actually go through Ann's recording. I have to remember who has a recordable one and who doesn't. The children, let's kind of touch on those very, very briefly. Edie's already figured out now that she had 4 children. Here's the 4 kid synopsis, very quick, just so you know what I'm looking for. Charles, you already know about, signer of the Constitution. The next child I bring up is Thomas. He fought in a Revolutionary War battle, the Battle of Camden, and he was shot in the left leg after being captured by the British. When the British released him, he was left on a limp and a cane for the rest of his days. You can see the very specific clues that will show up around Thomas. Any portrait you'll find of Thomas Pinckney after that battle is of his right side to hide his left leg, and there's a cane over his lap. Now you know why. Now, kind of look at other pictures when you guys see things from colonial times again, like, oh, I wonder what happened to him. Why do we always see pictures of him from that side? Something probably happened to the other. So the next child is a reason why I don't give the questions to strangers. You guys will unintentionally poke the bear. Baby George. He didn't make it. June of 1747, he's born and passed. His death certificate only reads June of 1747 in both the birth and death columns. For a long time, I was taking guesses on how old George actually was before he passed. My guess was about 2 weeks because he has a name. You wouldn't name a child back in the 1700s until they were christened or baptized, depending on your religion. He was, obviously, the church may have rushed this so that way he can die with dignity, considering who the Pinckney family actually was. I just recently found a document that actually claimed to have actual dates of his death and birth. June 14th, June 29th, birth and death. I was off by 1 day, and that would mean the anniversary of his death was yesterday. So, we are still very close. We did not get much out of this location at all yesterday. And then once I brought us back, and I started like remembering like, oh, what day it was, now it kind of made sense. It kind of makes sense into today as well. It's not like she's only going to mourn for 1 day over her, obviously, very infant baby. You guys are seeing the point on this. The last child, her name is Harriet. Oh, I didn't tell you the rest about George. He has no headstone, no grave. Think about that for a second. What the hell happened to him then? I have a theory on that. The church may have allowed the family to mummify him and keep him in a tomb right here in the home, waiting for mom to pass away so he could be buried with her. 10? Nice. So again, you can see where things will spike when I start talking about certain things. So it is a possibility that he was in a tomb right here in the home. So take that for what it's worth. It's going to get more weird when I tell you about Eliza's death. The last child, her name is Harriet. She married Daniel Ori. If you don't know her coast like Lindsay, sorry, I'm gonna like keep pushing on you like that. Ori County is Myrtle Beach. That's 2.5 hours north of here, and I only know that because I literally just drove from there dropping off my daughter. But anyway, it wouldn't have been a 2.5 hour car ride for Eliza to go see her daughter. Lots of letter writing. If we hear from Harriet, it's going to be things like quill, ink, paper, published, anything dealing with letter writing in the 1700s. And we don't normally hear from her very often. It's been about 2 years, to be quite honest with you. Eliza's death, which were the two of your major questions in focus. Eliza was 70 years old when she passed away. It's a long time for a woman to be alive back then. She was going to Philadelphia getting treatments, whatever they thought she had. It turned out to be breast cancer. We didn't know what that was in 1793, the year that she passed away. We're going based off her medical records. She died in Philly. She's buried in Philly. That should raise two questions in the back of everybody's brain. The first question is, if she's up there, what the hell are we doing here? I don't actually take you to cemeteries on a normal, regular basis. We will be visiting one tonight just based on the things that goes on there during this particular month. After this month, I'll have to figure out what to do next because the place I normally take you is actually being monitored for tours not cutting through there. So very easy. But none of you are going to be hanging out near your headstones when you're gone. That's the reason why I don't take you to cemeteries. You're going to go to your mansions 400 miles away. It is normally minimal activity whenever I go to a cemetery to investigate. And if I do get activity, I don't know who it is. I like to build relationships like what we're doing right now with Eliza. I'm here every damn night. And every night before I meet with you guys on that corner, I pass through this lot to tell her all of your names if I know them. So again, that's based on the way you guys book. I knew all of your names besides the two of you. That's the only. That's just you can't with the way that you booked. But everybody else, the way they booked, they could. So that's kind of how this works. So I do it every single night just out of respect. It's just a respect factor. Let's see.
12.1. She likes that.
Nice. 12.1. Yeah, I do it every night. It's just kind of a pact because I was getting nasty like ghost hunters on your end, and they're like, "Come on, Eliza," and then they're taking a leak in the corner, like disrespectfully. So obviously I gave the place a break because I was getting very nasty messages coming from spirit boxes, and I was like, "All right, I'll make a pact. I'll try to keep everybody in check." But anyway, moving on to the last part of this, Baby George. If my theory is true, they would have transported his tomb from here all the way to Philadelphia by horse and carriage. That's a long ride. You guys all look old enough to remember the game Oregon Trail. Maybe not Edie. Have you played Oregon Trail yet? She's like, no, I don't know.
There's a board game We're from Oregon. We're from Portland.
Oh, so did I say it wrong? Because somebody over here corrected me.
You say Oregon.
Yeah, well, I'm from the north, so I'm from Ohio. We say Oregon.
I like
Again, kind of think about that long trip for that driver. And last but not least, guess who the president was that was the pallbearer at the funeral? 1793. Any history buffs?
Jefferson. Jackson.
Washington.
Going once.
Shit. Who was the second?
Ferguson.
Adams. Yeah, Adams.
I don't know.
Final answer?
Jackson.
Jackson's the final answer.
Adams.
I don't know.
It was Washington at his own request.
Oh,
Here's the funny thing. I'm actually kind of glad you guys were just throwing darts at the wall because when we got over here, I told y'all I'm not going to be giving you questions like what color is George Washington's white horse. On purpose. I do it every single night subliminally, putting George Washington in the back of your brains. You all pass with a fail because you were just throwing darts. I'll take it. But normally, if I'm doing my Ron Robbins and she would, I don't know why, I'm going to take her spirit box and give it to somebody else that they came with because I don't want her repeating all the same stuff I've already said. You guys see the point. So you all pass with a fail. Good job. I look for that every single night. Washington, because the Indigo helped get our country started. It was a big homage from him to be able to pay that respect to Eliza and be able to take her to her grave. We could have gotten things from Big John over here, Pinckney Mansion stuff over there. That's what I call bleed over, everybody. We're going to be relying on that at the next location. It's an alley. We don't have the room that we have here to be able to spread out. Plus, other tours are probably going to be in there or cutting through us. We're going to go in there and I'm going to stir shit up and we're going to leave. And we're basically going to go across the street where I'll give you another piece of history and another little experiment that we're going to be doing. And hopefully you're going to get things from the alleyway as well. Now, you've probably heard this story 1,000 times. I'm going to give it to you in a much different fashion once we get over there. So along the way, here's what to expect. Ignore your numbers along the way. Your parking meters are going to make that thing go off. Ghosts are not following you, just so you know. I do have to write that 12.2 down. Camera is no recording until we get into the alley. Once we make the left onto the brick alley, keep your cameras nice and low. Other tours may be in there. We don't want to make them feel uncomfortable, so just keep it nice and low, and we'll kind of see what we can get. And you don't need to keep it within the circle because we're going to probably stay like this over there as well. Just kind of point your cameras outwards. With yours, it's super easy because
Oh, there we go. Thank you.
Yeah, it's just a quick click. EMF, you know you're looking great and above, perfect. So, Edie, I'm sorry, what was the phrase you used? You heard the word saddle as we were entering this location. interesting. I want to see how if we get anything else relative to that. So, welcome to Philadelphia Alley. Lindsay, have you been here before? Never been here. All the tours you've done, you've never been here.
Nope.
Get out of here.
Yeah, I don't think.
Wow. I say it like that because every ghost tour comes here. All
I've never been
339
on a
of them.
ghost tour here.
Here, not here.
Okay. So I guess I was getting a little confused. Like you've done a lot of the ghost tours.
No.
Okay. Here's how this one goes. This used to be called Dueler's Alley. So this is where some of the duels used to occur for the city of Charleston. Everybody tells the same damn story. Of course, I'm going to give it to you, but we're not on a campfire marshmallow ghost tour like everybody else. We're ghost hunting. You're going to get a few extra details. It is super warm down here in the summertime, so I breeze through this as quickly as I possibly can. Let's roll. You ready? Doctor moves down here from Rhode Island. His name is Dr. Joseph Brown Ladd. In the event that the song Brown Eyed Girl shows up for the two of you, it's not coincidence. It's part of his name. We get it all the time. Anyway, Dr. Ladd moves down here because he's supposed to get married to his fiancée, Amanda. Amanda just inherited a lot of money from her dead parents. That brushed me right here. No. So Amanda just inherited all this money from her dead parents, and she has an attorney helping her out with all of the cash. The attorney thinks that Dr. Ladd is just after Amanda's money, so he tells Amanda to get rid of the doctor. He comes down here to Charleston to prove that he's not after her money. He's going to make his own. On his way into town, he had a coachman that set him up to be robbed and killed. It wasn't a very good start to his stay here in Charleston. So somebody was walking by and seeing what was about to happen. Somebody walking by, his name was Ralph Isaacs. I say his name slowly because he has the same initials as where the doctor came from. Rhode Island, Ralph Isaacs. So we are getting letters RI all the time on regular spirit boxes. So I actually have another device we're not using tonight. It's called an Envoy, but it's like a digital Ouija board. So any type of EMF that we get, it gives us letters instead of numbers. We've gotten the letters RI at least 7 or 8 times in the past year that I've had it when I bring up Ralph's name. So now we know it's relevant to him, not the doctor from Rhode Island. Moving on. Ralph tells the doc, dude, I know this guy. He's going to try to kill you. Come with me to 59 Church Street. I got friends over there that'll rent you a room and you'll be safe and good to go. Doc took him up on that offer and they became friends. Now, the longer the doctor stays here in Charleston, living at 59 Church Street, he's making a lot of money. He's doing pretty well for himself, and Amanda gets wind of this. She's moving down so they could be married. Dr. Ladd then became known as the Whistling Doctor. This is why I hate this damn story and why I was going to take it out of my route. It's a giant cliche. No matter what haunted city you will visit in the future, every one of them is going to have a cliched whistling ghost. We all have one. This one just happens to be a doctor. Why are you in Dueler's Alley then? Let's get into it. Dr. Ladd and Ralph go see plays together. They can't sit next to each other because the doctor makes more money. That's the hierarchy of Charleston. That's the way it goes. So, on the way home from seeing Richard III one night, they're arguing over the new actress that they just saw. Dr. Ladd thought she was great and Ralph didn't. The argument turns into Ralph insulting the doctor's fiancée, Amanda, back home in Rhode Island, and it got really ugly between the two of them. They went their separate ways. Ralph went to his friends at the newspaper and placed an ad in the paper telling the whole city of Charleston what he thinks of the doctor. Kind of a, you're a disgrace to society kind of stuff. Doc saw the ad but rebutted with, let's go to Dueler's Alley. We're going to settle this. Keep in mind, this argument started over an actress. I just like to point that out one last time because it's pretty damn dumb. But the two gents came down, back to back, took their 10 paces, they turned, Doc pointed his gun in the air, shot it one shot. He didn't want to kill his friend. He just needed the courage to show up to the fight. But Ralph has his one bullet in his front line, and he puts it in the kneecap on the Doc. Doc didn't die, he dropped to the ground. His friends picked him up and took him home to 59 Church Street, where he died 10 days later, November 2nd of 1786, after refusing medical treatment. Pointing out two things here. First off, it's 1786. Gunshot wounds weren't different back then than what we know of them now. Secondly, he's a doctor, guys. He probably just said he had lead poisoning and tried to bleed it out himself, but he died. Obviously, he failed. So, every ghost tour that comes down here tells you to listen for the whistles. Seems super loud down here because we have 2 air conditioners running, plus we have all these crazy breakers. We have 3 cameras running right now, plus my voice recorder. If we're going to capture a disembodied whistle, more than likely it's going to show up on one of those 4 devices. However, the red spirit boxes with the headphones, I can't tell you how many times I have the whistling part of a song and then the word doctor from a commercial immediately after. Happens all the time. I don't look for it. I only look in minutes 1, 5, 10, 15, 20. You guys see the pattern? If it falls into one of that, I just see it all the time. It's just him saying hello. I'm also going to point out that Doc likes to follow me to every location we're going from here going forward. This is part of the reason why I won't take him out of the story, because I want to start where his origin actually happened. So again, this was going to come out of my tour this year, but I was like, he keeps following me. Doesn't matter where I go, I still got to tell a story, so I might as well do it in the alley. Now, if you're going to try this on your own and use your voice voice recorders from your phones, remember that every local knows this story. You walk all the way through, which by the way, I can't take you all the way through. I've actually been kicked out of here. We're going to discuss that. But anybody walking up and down Cumberland or Queen Street is going to throw a whistle down the alley. We all do it. It's just something we do down here in Charleston. I do it all the time whenever I walk down here. Both sides are still good. So let's talk about how I got kicked out of here. That's the fun part. I'll breeze through it again. I can see the glistening foreheads. I know we're all hot as hell down here. So there used to be a wall halfway between where I'm standing and Cumberland Street. The reason why, because this used to be where they kept the livestock for the city of Charleston. It was called Cow Alley before it was Dueler's Alley. So why am I telling you this? The reason why is because the bricks on the other side, down by Queen Street, are older than the ones you're standing on. Let the two young ladies pass through. Yeah, Cow Alley.
Second thing I wrote down is red cattle.
Red cattle. Love it. Now we're on the right track, finally. So, those bricks down on the other side, down by Queen Street, those are sun-dried bricks from slave children. There is a full handprint from a slave child down at the end of this alley, and some fingerprint swipes and others. And I used to take my groups all the way through for a history lesson. The reason why, there's nothing paranormal about it. That's the last place you're going to find that child, is next to the damn handprint that he had to put into the bricks that he was, a slave that made him do it. You guys got the point. Now, November 26th of 2020, my entire group, I took them down there for a history lesson. What do you have?
New Kids on the Block was the last thing that I wrote down.
So, it's an ironic tone, but yeah, I see where you're going with it. But I took that group down there on that specific date to show them their history lesson, and they're all huddled around that brick waiting for something to happen. It's kind of like where we are, but they're waiting for the equipment to go off. I know it's not going to go off. We're also standing outside the dining room window of the beautiful mansion at the end of the alley. I was just trying to be respectful, not realizing we were out of bounds for tours. The new owner of that mansion came out. He was screaming. My daughter, who was probably your age, Edie, she thought it was hysterical. She's laughing hysterically, and her father was getting yelled at. And we were gone. The next day was Thanksgiving. I don't tour on Thanksgiving because I used to work in upper management for Walmart. You guys like to fight over towels on Thanksgiving, and you scarred me for life. So I don't work on Thanksgiving ever again. But the next day was the 28th. I called my partner that brought me into tourism, and I told him what happened, and he laughed at me just like my daughter did. And he said, dude, you're only allowed to go down halfway. You're going to have to reroute your group. So the story I would normally tell you is about pirates. So I told my group, I don't get into pirates, I'm into vampires, and I've never had anything happen over there. And we'll see what happens. But before we left, somebody with a spirit box heard the name Anne. I didn't tell them which pirate we were going to be investigating. The female pirate, Anne Bonnie. So it's kind of like, okay. I took them around the corner, told them what I knew about pirates, which wasn't much. Somebody else heard the number 300 coming out of another spirit box. I didn't know what that one meant. I wrote it down. We were there on November 28th of 2020. Anne Bonnie's trial for piracy was November 28th of 1720. We were there on the exact 300th anniversary of her pirate trial. So, again, we're not doing that story tonight simply because they're monitoring that location. They don't want tourists coming through there anymore. So we've got another location that we're going to be going up and around to. But I do like to point out that, again, I do a lot of research on these locations. So I was kind of pissed off when the pirate story kind of went away from me because I don't know if they're ever going to allow us back in there. So we're going to see what we're going to capture.
She's guilty.
She's guilty?
Yeah.
We've still been getting pirate stuff because we're still near the area that we would have, obviously known for her to hunt. So we've been still seeing it, even though I haven't been there in like 3 weeks. So yeah, I'm not surprised the phrase right there. So Daniela's camera is going to be kind of the prime focus when we get up and around the corner, just based on what goes on at that location. It's going to be able to see things that we can't see, and we're going to be dealing with an apparition that hopefully we're going to capture on this camera. We haven't caught it yet in the past 3 weeks, but hopefully we'll get it tonight, because we're still right around the anniversary of when these things occurred. Got a bunch of bikers, let's get out of their way. Right? Yep. I know, right? Jamming. So we're going to exit the way we came in. Edie, you can listen in as much as you want. The closer we get to that tour group, go ahead and put it back on mute until we pass them. So that way we're not interrupting their tour. They're already going to be pointing at all of us because we're the weirdos out here tonight, just so you guys know. I'm going to get to everybody talking. Nice. Tell the story ahead of time, just kind of everybody knows what's going on. Yeah, everybody take a seat, take a load off. Let's go, we're going to go left to right on what you guys heard based off of the alley, because I know you guys both had things that were coming out, so Sam will start off with you. What'd you get?
Alright, so we got, compared to what happened there, South Dakota, and 6 months. Then while walking,
yeah,
I got 666781. It feels like this. They may come, and injury letters.
Oh, yeah, quite a bit. Lindsay? You guys heard a lot. I don't see anything in that mess between the two of you. The 6 months is relevant only because of the number 6. The South Dakota bit, like, we are at a weird state that we don't normally hear on South Carolina radio stations. So what will normally happen when I hear things like that, whether it's an odd city or a state, and it usually predicts like something that's going to happen on my next door. I'll see it usually about 10 or 12 times a year. So if we have South Dakota, there's going to be a name that's going to show up that's going to be found in real time. So tomorrow night, let's just say its name is Nick, and he's from South Dakota. He'll be on tomorrow night's tour, and I don't know who that is. So again, until I actually look at your guys' phone numbers in the morning when I'm texting you. So I don't know where you guys are from until I kind of get the point on that. So again, South Dakota was a good catch. I just don't know what the hell it means. And again, it is weird to hear that on a South Carolina radio station, so kudos to you for capturing that. So when we get up and around the corner, so Edie, I'm sorry, did you hear anything else besides what you told me? Like, what did it say? Got it. We're going to see what happens with these. Because again, there's a lot
Sorry.
a lot of conversational pieces that are coming out of this. What do you got?
No, nothing.
It's just a sports
Not
game.
related to this. I'm
Okay,
sorry.
it's
I'm
all right.
sorry.
Is it relatable to you guys?
Yes.
It's relatable to a soccer game.
Maybe you'll have someone from North Street.
Every ghost story going up there has a big
That's
finale.
crazy.
This is, I normally don't tell the story. Remember, this is where I normally do a pirate story. So this is kind of like we're in the middle of the game. But they're all up there because there's a sign right inside the cemetery that says there's no ghost here, it's the Holy Ghost. They don't want jerks like me with cameras like what Daniel is to try to recreate what happened. Let me tell you what happened. It's very brief, and then we'll get up there and kind of monitor the situation. all 3 cameras will be up against the fence, and I'll show you where the grade is at, where the operation has been used. EMS did capture 9 up there about 2 months ago, which is manually recreated. So I'll show you exactly what that was at, but everybody else will be listening on the spirit box, including you when we get up there. So here's how, by the way, what's the last 4 or 5 terms? We haven't talked about this, Alba. What do you got?
Photography.
Beautiful. Keep going.
Pace and pictures.
Pace, like P-A-C-E?
Yes.
Like 10 paces during a duel. Okay, keep going.
Pictures. Mirror. Salmon. Night. Over.
Yeah, you got a couple of good things in there. The mirror is relevant. Let me explain what the word mirror is for. So when you pass that corner, we came around. So the building right across the street over here, it used to be a restaurant, but the restaurant closed down because none of the doors stay locked and the mirror keeps falling off the wall and not breaking. There's actually a picture found with the mirror on the ground. I'll send you guys a link along with that piece. So the word mirror is actually relevant. I like the word pace when we're talking about dueling. Photography, or whatever the picture is, you're going to see why. The sign inside, like I said, is because they don't want us recreating it. Here's what happened. 1888, a young lady passed away by the name of Sue Howard Hardy. What are her initials, everybody? Sue Howard Hardy. Where does that spell out? Exactly. It's cheesy, it's campy, but we see it all the time. Because it's just on your spirit boxes, and then you see it even on our word list with the letter SH coming out. So Sue Howard Hardy, she died 6 days after her child. So Sam actually heard her 6, so it's kind of a relative thing. So how that works out, but pretty sad story. That's another good child. I'm sorry, but there's more to the story. 1987, exactly 99 years later, June 16th, and with this past 346th anniversary, we have a photographer in town taking pictures of all of the cemetery. He captured a full apparition inside of that cemetery, but it's 1987. He doesn't have the tech that we have now. He sends it over to Kodak. You guys all know what Kodak is, right? So sometimes the teenagers think that's a bear. Yeah, kind of hit that joke. But anyway, back to Kodak. They can only prove what camera it was taken on because that's what Henry Reynolds said it was taken on, and that he did not alter the picture. However, I don't ever used to like to tell the story. I still don't like to tell the story because the picture is it said the female's handling this thing in a digital format, even in a tablet or your phone. Same symptoms I told you about at the beginning: headache, nausea, dizziness. So pregnant females are said to not have a good pregnancy based off the gist of the story. You can see why I don't want somebody on their honeymoon coming to see me and then 9 months later I curse their family. So I am going to show you the photograph, and then I'm going to zoom in on the apparition, and then we're going to go 5 maybe 7 minutes worth of footage based off the cameras and spirit box work and see if we can capture anything off of there. I'll bring us back down here a little bit. Remember, there's inventory goes on there. I'm trying to stay out of the way. And I'll explain our last 2 stops. But the last 2 experiments, like, there's going to be somebody from every party involved with these experiments, just so you guys know. Obviously, I've already kind of given you hints about the blindfold test, so just kind of keep in mind there will be one person from every group and that's involved with that. At the next location, we're going to be doing a live EVP session, so I'll explain that when we come back down here. So let's get focused back on this apparition piece, and we'll kind of get closer to that and get into the story so we can go out there and actually capture it. Alright, so your apparition, I'll go 2x2. So here's your full picture. Your apparition is right here. You're looking at a woman praying over her own grave with a baby basket sitting right next to her. You see it, Alba? So, again, if you Google top 100 best apparitions ever found, this is usually in that top 100. That's why they all stop up there. This is their show and tell. Looking at her back, baby basket right next to her. Pretty creepy stuff. Now, June 16th, I want to say 2012, same exact date, different view. Another apparition was caught around the same area, but it's very wispy. So it's not as clear as this right here. Her grave, and the story lines up completely with this one. Again, no grave for the baby. When I told you about baby George, right on the Pink Mansion site, it's probably buried in the same grave. You gotta put the clues down. I know you go. That's how this goes. Let's keep it working on this here. Yeah.
I want to get tired of that ice cream.
It's a lot to handle. So, have going on here. You can see why I'm excited about the word photographer, obviously, and then the word case. I'm very excited about that. You know, it's something we don't always hear. What other questions do we have going on there? I'll explain our next location. It looks like we're going to take a little time to make flash there. What you got? I just got Mama. Surprise. The live EVP session that we're going to be doing, it's about 2.5 blocks from here. So once we leave this space, it's the longest space that we'll walk in between. But I'm going to take Edie and I'm going to give her a set of headphones where she can use a voice recorder that can hear a frog fart from a mile away. Hopefully she's going to hear real ghost voices coming through this because it's not going to pick up on radio chatter. There's no radio attached to it. I will tell you the murder mystery of what I know about it. Remember that it's a mystery. I don't know all the answers. That's the fun part about this whole experiment. The hope here is that Edie is going to hear actual voices from this ghost. We've caught some in the past, and this is the new space for this year. So we just started doing this in November. I've already caught 2 solid EVPs where I know exactly what we're doing. What's going on, brother? I'm good. So that'll be the experiment that we're doing up there. And all you have to do is sit there with this super cool stuff. So you'll see how intense this actual recording is. And we're going to record the entire thing for you guys. You're going to hear exactly what you heard. And I'm not going to spot check this one. I listened to it from start to finish. So again, it's only 10 to 12 minutes long. So I can listen to it. I have plenty of time to be able to do that, to be able to learn about the new recorder that I'm going to be letting her use. Super cool stuff. The blindfold session. Is he moving yet? No. The blindfold test. Here's the 3 of you need to choose who's going to do the blindfold. You just told me you need to use that. You just told me you didn't understand how that thing worked. Wow. And Mama coming out of Sam's. So here's how this is going to go as far as child is still. The blindfold test, I'm going to take 1 person from every group. 2 of you will be blindfolded. The other person is going to be Sam because he's been listening to the spirit box the longest. So he's going to sit on the bench. 1 of you 3 will sit on the bench based on, I'll actually make the decision since you guys are going to kind of take a look at it, go back and forth with. And then I'm going to take Mike. He's going to sit on that bench as well. And then about 15 feet away, I'm going to take the rest of the group and teach them the history. So that way the 3 people on the bench have no idea what or who they're listening for. So you'll be able to see her, Mike. She'll be perfectly fine. And then, sorry, this experiment so many times I forget, like, oh, there's kids involved. But yeah, she'll be in full view. So I'll teach the rest of the folks the history, and then we're going to come back and watch this unfold. So the 2 blindfolded people, I'm going to be asking you questions like you're the ghost. You're going to tell me everything you're hearing as you hear it. So hopefully it looks like a conversation. Mike is going to be getting a virtual reality moment, and he's going to have images come up made out of EMF, and it's going to be made by artificial intelligence. It's going to translate EMF, just like the remote that Lindsay's using right now. And then it'll translate it into imagery. You're going to describe what those images are. Your images are about 45% accurate. The other 2 pieces of the blindfold test, it's about 30% accurate. So 1 out of 3 chance that this will actually work as far as the blindfold and speaking test. But as far as his images, you'll all be able to see the images before we leave and part ways. But it'll also be on your report tomorrow morning. Super fun experiment because this could be very silly. You might just tell me things that aren't relevant at all, like I ask you what color a blue banana is and you say orange, that kind of mentality. Or we could have a full-blown conversation. We never know how this is going to go. I'll keep everybody under for 10 minutes, and then I'll kind of, obviously release you with all the blindfolds and all of those things. Oh yeah, let's take this. Your camera, you can actually put it right in between the bars, and then Mike will need you up here as well. Now, for those of you with cameras, the grave that you're looking at, do you guys see the cross headstone in the back? It's in the shape of a cross, like towards the back of the thing. Sue Howard Hardy's grave is just to the left of that, and 1 more row back. So when you guys are, yeah, you can put it right against the bars, perfect. You're gonna probably pick up on 1 of the bars, so if you want to move to your left. And you can almost, like, because the camera is like right next to your finger, yeah, you can almost like put the camera like right against the bars, so that way you're not, there you go, that way you're not picking up on it. Now, what I'm looking for out of this, by the way, did you guys see the light off to the left? That light was there to deter people like us from trying to take these kind of videos. It's supposed to cause light flares, but obviously my cameras like bust right through them. So super cool stuff. Where's our EMF meter at this point? So
Zero.
Lindsay, the EMF was actually caught over here near this gate, and that was a 9.2, I think it was. No, I think it said like about 2.5 weeks ago at this point. So just let me know if you get anything at all. Let me see what you got. Still running. Alba, how's our words coming now?
Nothing. Tag. Concrete. Controversy. European.
European. Interesting. Edie, you can go ahead and unmute and listen here for a few minutes and see if we can get anything. Other two spirit boxes, have you guys gotten anything else since we've been here? Sam, Eryn, do you guys have anything else?
I have Philadelphia, addicted, let us live, and military.
Philadelphia. We're next to Philadelphia Alley.
I got a. You're ready to control. Got caught on and not speaking.
Yeah.
I'm putting another tour together for October. I'll do it before this, so it'll be because I was October. But it'll be the Dead Writers of College. So it's going to be about a lot of authors that are from here.
Es como wide.
Story lines. Obviously different.
Yeah. Yeah, Savannah, you'll notice like between here, Savannah, and St. Augustine, it's all the same names.
Yeah.
I mean, they're all tied together. We're right next to the graveyard, so
But it doesn't. How does the word come up?
it's listening to the radio just like all the other spirit boxes. So the same way the Sam is, if it recognizes a word,
It
that's
doesn't have to do with location or like it doesn't pick up on.
there's no geolocation in there at all. So you see the numbers up here in your top left that are moving around? That's the radio hertz. So like that's the frequency of the radio. It's just cycling through them. If it recognizes a word from its dictionary, it puts it on your screen. Same way Sam's doing. Same thing. Just doing it in a manual format. Like so. Anything crazy going on with these cams in there?
I can't tell. Is this? Can you come look?
Yours has a lot of layers to
Is
it.
it like a tree or is it a person? And then there's also some.
Yeah, I'm looking at this one mainly over here, just because of the relevance of size.
Yeah.
So I'll do some screenshots on it. Like
'Cause
this one over here is
this
definitely
one-
weird.
It also keeps coming up, but like it'll like stay long
It
enough.
looks like that one is
There's
like
not a lot of it.
Michael Jackson doing a dance. On the left.
Yeah. Like, I don't know how
Yeah.
to do that one though.
But these over here more than likely are all the lines and shadows that
Yeah.
it's picking up. It's this one over here that I was
And
on the right.
If you watch it back, you'll see it like over there more. I just like didn't know how to do it.
He's dancing.
Edie, what did that just say?
I think eating.
Eating?
Possibly. I also earlier got European and actor.
You have European.
Yeah.
What
And then I
25 means something?
Not to me. Like that I can know off the top of my head.
also heard that's code.
Older white guy. I guess.
Older white guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that one on yours, as far as that goes. Daniela, you got anything weird? I see a couple of flashes coming through, but it might be coming from the SLS camera.
Oh yeah. I'm not sure.
Mike, you see anything goofy?
I mean, there's two spots up here, but
Are they staying still?
yeah.
Yeah, it's more likely not. They're not going to stand still.
Invasion. Down like.
I feel like an invasion. fact that European showed up on 2 different devices, though, like that's interesting. And the word actor could have meant with the actress that they were arguing over. And we're still near the alleyway. What do you got?
Hot chicks in the club.
Yeah, that's
Eyes
definitely
on the
not right.
road, the same charms.
Brother?
What?
Did that say
And I
brother?
really like that nightcap. Reminds me of coffee. She looks really good. she like looks the same.
Alright, I'm sure you guys' arms are getting tired. Let's go ahead and call this one a wrap. Again, this is all about the footage later on. I just like to give you guys the heads up, and this is caught something in real time on yours. Super cool. I'm excited. I already have a note to make sure I'm watching that part of the video for sure. What are the 3 people wearing?
Make your life a lot easier.
Something a little bit more.
It's too early.
We are here actually.
What you owe the IRS.
Oh my gosh.
Very honest.
Regret using it.
This is your
Stop,
phone.
turn around. Give us a little.
Nice. Henry, we got 2 people on the
Right
bench
here.
listening to you. Channel through, and let's get some questions answered, kind of like what we did here last night. Do you remember last night?
Fair shit. I was pretty.
Google was there.
Henry, let's get to work about your
A
job.
money-making scheme.
What did you do for work?
Naturally a
My
whole...
partner.
Henry, let's get right to it. What did you do for work?
Love.
Wonderful and evil.
He will never leave you.
Mike? Thinking if we got anything. Henry, tell us about your job.
We don't want it.
Henry, Timrod. Asking the
New companies
Taxi.com.
sponsored by us, South
Look
Carolina.
me in the eyes, say ha.
Wow.
Roughly 30 seconds.
Henry, your work. Anybody else that's here, please step away. Too much clutter going on, or I can't understand what's happening. Who's talking to who? So Henry, push forward. Tell us about your job.
Their lives will be my soul.
30.
Second time she said 30. Henry, what sound of the church are we getting right now?
Eventually.
Oh, we just heard it. Not eventually, we just
You're fact checking and you're
Searching for you. Top.
Henry.
I'm not the one.
Run by experts. Three kinds of things.
Henry, what sound did we just get out of the church?
Go.
We're not leaving yet, Henry.
Good.
Mike, any images? You might not get any. We've had some nights where we get
Low
0.
Kentucky.
Other nights we get 12.
The Rolling Stones.
And he was embarrassed.
I felt the 4.
Eight, 4, 3.
There. Summer camp.
Look me in the eyes.
Ooh.
Henry, there's a lot going on here. Let's be clear. Try to find...
The walls that you mentioned. I don't know if it was the first, but
Henry,
All mine.
we're using the blue box tonight too. Can you give us an image or two so Mike doesn't fall asleep?
I love it when you call.
Henry, any numbers that are coming
All the
up
time.
at all? Any
Not
words?
anything.
Swear, shock,
Wiki.
everything.
Number.
green. Make it.
Henry, let's change the subject.
I need to suck.
Wow. Henry, let's change the subject to your son.
For a statement of
Can you tell us about your son? Let's ask about his birthday.
5.
Very specific.
what a wary.
Passed away himself.
restaurant had the earth long.
Henry?
It's probably a
Oh God.
sick guitar riff.
Tell us about your son. What was his
Shoes.
birthday? What's your son's birthday? Just give us the number. You don't have to say the holiday. Just give us the number. Pretty easy to find that number. Use the frequencies in there.
Brand deals.
Henry? Nothing has come through at all, and you've been in there for almost 6 minutes already.
Only when you want.
Henry?
What should model? Run.
He's literally struggling the reason for Congress in Kansas.
Wow.
But it's a Greek
Something
word.
Congress flash.
Henry, none of this is making sense. Is somebody else here with you trying to clutter
He's
everything
giving
up?
back to the community.
Mike, no images?
Want
Need it.
something? You're gonna have to
Be a guest. And I went downstairs.
go to
3,000.
outdoor string light.
Come for me.
This just seemed like a giant cluster to you guys too. Like I'm not getting anything out of this.
I like when you come.
Well,
Settle down.
okay.
It just seems like a big cluster. I normally don't have them talking over each other this much.
Get your tools.
Take it, take it. Oh,
Operations.
a little Christmas.
Christmas, everybody. Finally got the damn answer. Thank you, Henry. It's about time. Can you give us your son's name?
Basically, we're
Mental health
in.
issues.
Is it for dinner? How much?
Mental health issues.
Mike, did that image come
And
through?
let him.
Hand
Henry, we're running out of time.
IPD have become
What was your son's name? Can you tell us his name? I wasn't expecting you to say Christmas.
I'm sitting in a haunted mansion for a few weeks.
of course.
What was your son's name? Wow, super quiet.
I'm 6 feet. Hair, nails,
Clarity.
Henry, we're running out
still
of time.
smell like
We're down to about a minute.
No matter what it takes.
I've asked you a lot of questions.
my one and only.
That's about your work.
Prevail.
When I drive,
Did you still have an answer?
what is done with it?
Community, can you get it?
I asked you about
Oh.
the sounds from the
My
church.
God.
Wow, this is like cluttering everything up.
Hornet. Cunningham
Witches.
Wall.
Pornography.
Witches?
I look.
Henry, we're gonna
Somebody
wrap this
showed
up.
up.
Oh, who else is here? Can you give us a name or else we're gonna wrap it up?
It was like
Pop it, girl. Number one's only.
I'm falling.
Henry, there's been no images and only one word of relevance so far.
You're welcome to talk about it.
We're gonna close it down. Going once,
Things are only discovered
35.
in Diego.
going twice.
Great episodes.
Okay, let's go ahead and tap out the listeners.
Come out to hell.
Mike, let's peel that thing off your face. Let's see what's going on with that guy.
Watch your feet.
AutoZone.
Crazy.
Did it do anything?
Shouldn't it